Hello, welcome back to another recipe video. Today I'm going to make some accidentally amazing chicken sandwiches, and I will explain the story of how this recipe was developed as the video goes on. So we're going to start off with some onions. We're going to slice these into some nice thin strips, because I don't like big chunks of onion in my sandwiches. Basically, me and my dad, when I was younger, used to get into a really big cooking mood, but none of us knew how to cook at the time. So the way it would go is we would try to throw together as many different things as possible and try to make it work. And this one recipe somehow really worked. And I think it was mainly my dad. It was more of his flair to this, and I wanted to try to recreate it like years later. But it was really amazing. It was spicy, it was creamy, it was tasty, and it was just perfect. So we're going to have a good amount of onion. And then next, we've got some peppers. So over here, I've got half a green pepper and some yellow bell pepper. So I like to just take the edges off, like so, to make life a little easier for myself. And you can just get rid of the core. I also like to get rid of this white membrane because I think it's sort of a little sour. And I just don't want it in there. It just doesn't look too good to me either. So scrape off the seeds. So what happened, the way we generally cooked was we'd gather pretty much all the spices we had in our cupboards, all our herbs, all our spices, and lay it out on the table. And we would smell each spice in turn and decide whether to add it to our recipe or not. And it might sound, and you know what, it worked. It really worked, because this was one of the nicest chicken sandwiches I've ever had. So we would throw it together, and my dad would add a little flair to it based on the cooking shows he'd watched. And at the time he was really into like Jamie Oliver, so he'd try adding a bit of his flair to it, you know, things like that. It was really good fun. So I finished this, and he would ask my opinion. Should we add this? Should we add that? And, you know, trial and error. And somehow it just worked. Like, I don't think we ever made a terrible dish like that. I mean, he came up with this, and it was amazing. So I wanted to do this simply because I know there's a lot of people who get really nervous about cooking. They feel like it's something which is going to really easily fail. You know, they get a bit scared to try sometimes, but it's a lot easier than you think. You know, you just throw things together, and in time you'll just learn. You don't have to go to cooking school to be a good cook. You just need to try. And these days we're lucky because you can look up recipes online. You'll pick up the different methodologies for cooking, and it's just everything is at your fingertips. So don't be scared to experiment. You know, throw things together based on what you think you would like and what you might not like, you know, and you might be surprised with what comes out of it. So my onions and peppers are sliced up. I'm going to put them in a plate for now and then prepare the chicken. So of course, with any good chicken sandwich, you of course need chicken. I've got 2 breasts here. I'm going to trim off the fat, or just these little white bits. And next we're just going to cut the chicken into thin strips, roughly even thickness. And then these little chunks that you have here, just cut these through again, because I do want strips, like so. So you end up with something looking like this. Next, I'm going to prepare some of the seasonings. Well, not quite seasonings, but the rest of the ingredients. And I'm going to add a good dollop of cream cheese. I know it might sound strange, but I tell you, it worked so well. And of course, no exact measurements because we were just throwing everything together. And I'm going to add a good teaspoon of whole grain mustard. And along with that, I'm going to add a good squeeze of French's, if I can get it to look, French's yellow mustard. Of course, no direct amounts required. We just added it based on how much we wanted. And if you need to add more, taste and test, add more. And in the spirit of being lazy, I'm going to add a teaspoon of fiery fajita seasoning. Obviously, when I was cooking for my dad, this isn't necessarily what we used. We would just throw things in: paprika, cumin, salt, pepper, loads of garlic, chili flakes, things like that. But I'm feeling lazy. I feel like he would still be proud of this anyway. And this is what we're going to go with. Give it a mix, taste it, see if it's to your liking. You can always add more if you feel like it needs it, or just add less of the mixture. It depends on however you want to make it. Now to the chicken, I'm going to add some seasonings because remember, I didn't add the full packet of that fajita mix. So I want to use it later in the week, and I'm going to add a good amount of garlic powder, some black pepper. I like to add plenty of it because I really want it to I want to be able to taste the chicken too. I like to flavour everything in my dish. A good amount of salt. It looks like a lot, but remember, it's going to get mixed in. This is 2 breasts over here. And some paprika for a bit of colour and good flavour. And then we're going to mix that in. I'm just going to do it on the board, save me washing extra utensils. Now we're going to start frying the chicken. I've got a frying pan over a medium-high heat. I want the pan to get nice and hot because I want to get a nice golden colour on my chicken without drying it out. So I'm going to add a little olive oil, and I'm going to cook my chicken in batches just to make sure my pan doesn't cool down too much, because again, I really want that colour. I'm just going to add some chicken. You want to hear that beautiful sizzle when you add it in. I'm going to spread it around. Although the chicken might be slightly different sizes, the thickness is still the same, so they should cook at a similar rate. After a minute or two, give the chicken a flip. You're not really looking to cook your chicken through right now. I just want to give it some good colour, that's all. Because this is going to go back in the pan to finish frying with all the vegetables. So flip those over and just let the other side colour a little. And then I'm going to remove these from a pan to a separate bowl. They're not finished cooking, but as I said, we'll finish cooking later. And we're going to start with the second batch and so on until they're all cooked, or well, partly cooked. So the last batch is done. I'm going to remove this to a bowl. And I'm going to add some more olive oil, just a little. And we're going to add our onions and give them a little head start. I like a good amount of onion because of course they do shrink a lot as well, plus they give so much flavour to a sandwich. Just mix that round in there. I'm just cooking the onion enough to get rid of that initial rawness and pick up some of that colour from the bottom of the pan. It works as a really good way to clean the pan actually. And you'll see it's already starting to brown even though it's just been added, and that's just from the chicken. So my onions have been cooking for around a couple of minutes and they're already starting to wilt slightly, but not too much. They're still nice and crunchy. And now I'm going to add all my peppers and give it a couple more minutes just to cook out that rawness in them. I'm just giving them a little toss every now and again to make sure they cook evenly. And you can already see it's really starting to cook down nicely. The onions are looking great. The peppers are still a tad raw for my liking still, so I'm just going to cook it a little further. And now I'm going to add the chicken back to the pan, along with any of the juices that I put in there. And I'm going to turn the heat from a medium high to a medium low heat. I'm going to let this finish cooking in there. Mix it around, and before we forget, we're going to add that lovely cream cheese mustard seasoning back in and give this a few more minutes. I'm going to cook it until the chicken is cooked through. I don't want to waste any of this. And it smells so good. I like to just scrape it off with my tongs. I don't like to waste it if I can help it. And then we're going to mix this in. It'll melt as it hits the pan and the heat hits it. And it shouldn't be so thick anymore. But try to mix it in as well as you can. It's not going to be the easiest thing at the start, but you can already see it's loosening up and becoming nice and creamy. I'm going to add a little more of the seasoning, just a tad, not too much, because remember I salted the chicken. I don't want the whole dish to become too salty. But I tried it and I thought it could just do with a touch more. And we're going to mix it in. You can see how nicely it's coated everything now. And it looks and smells really, really, really nice. If you want an extra kick, you can always add some extra chili flakes to it. This is fine by me because I use quite a spicy seasoning mix. And if you want, you can add extra paprika. You can add some smoked paprika if you like. Just give the dish a bit of an edge. But it's such a simple, easy one. And I really love this. You could have this on its own in chicken wraps, on top of pasta. I'm going to do it in a lovely toasted sandwich. So my sandwich filling is ready. I'm going to put it aside and prepare the rest. I'm going to finish baking this black olive and ciabatta bread. It's one of those that I pre-made and you just finish baking at home because I thought it looked really good. My bake at home bread is ready, so I'm going to prepare it now. I'm just going to cut it in half. So I'm going to spoon some of the filling onto here. So let's start spooning some of this delicious mixture on there. I'm going to get a good amount on because it's quite thick bread. I really want to taste it. Oops. And to top it off, I'm going to add some chipotle chili cheese. So I want some really good flavour in there. And I'm going to give this a good grilling in the oven just to melt the cheese really. A delicious sandwich is ready. You can add some extra ingredients if you want, but I think this is enough. I don't need to add any extra sauce or anything because it looks like it's going to be juicy enough. You can always add some hot sauce or some sweet corn, olives. There's no need because I'm using olive bread. But anyway, definitely try it out because I think that looks amazing. And if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll hopefully upload again soon.